I have a career advice that I always give to recent college grads that I think applies to everyone. I think you need to make your own thing, whatever that is, in the industry that you want to be in the thing that you're passionate about, before somebody gives you a job in that space. Because that thing is always yours. I started EarBuds in 2017 when I was working for nonprofits, and I really wanted to work in podcasting, but I didn't know anyone. And this newsletter allowed me to reach out to people that I wanted to be in touch with, that eventually thought of me for jobs.
Okay, so we have Arielle Nissenblatt. Am I saying your name right?
I say Nissenblatt, sounds like this and that, but like, I cannot be the judge of how people say my name.
So I've been saying your name wrong the last 6 years.
No.
Great.
No, come on. I'm open to all sorts of interpretations.
Yeah. Who do you think your audience is?
When I was on Twitter.
I do that too, by the way.
When I was on Twitter, it was a lot of creators who were new or who were just learning for the first time about the audience growth, marketing, PR side of things.
Right.
And for them, I was definitely speaking to a 101 audience of, here are some places that you can buy ads. Here's what to know about dynamic ad insertion. Here's what to know about this. Here's some podcast listening habits that I've come across when talking to people. And I think, yes, that is important stuff that people who are just getting started can learn about. Mm-hmm. But I also think there are some people who have been established, who have been in this industry or in adjacent industries, who are then looking to get into the ins and outs of the podcast space, can benefit from seeing how people respond to that. And also how people are interacting with it in general. Plus, it might have a nuance here and there that somebody who's been in this industry for 20 years doesn't want to admit that they don't really know about, right? So I do think that the people who come out of the woodwork to reply are the people who are earlier on in their podcast career, but the people that message me are all over the place. It can be people who are 60 years old. I admire your audacity of what you write on the internet, or people who I look to and I see their LinkedIn bio and I'm like, damn, you're talking to me and wanting to get on a call to pick my brain? Like, that's cool. So yeah, it's all over the place. And it's interesting to think about because I feel like I downplay who I speak to when I'm trying to land a potential sponsor, for example, of one of my podcasts. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, I speak to people who probably won't really make money from their podcasts, but they're still valuable. Like I obviously they're still valuable because they're people and they buy things and whatever. But also, like, I do speak to a lot of people who have been working in this space, and I have to remember that. So
yeah, what would you say to women who wanted to start podcasting, but we're holding back?
I think it depends what your idea is. I see people all the time on Threads. Now I'm primarily on Threads and LinkedIn. Okay. But mostly on Threads, I see something like, I want to start a podcast. What should I talk about? I get way too mad about that. It's not personal. I need to remind myself that. But I want to comment on all of those saying, I really just think that the idea should come first.
Yeah.
And leave it at that. But you asked, what should they do if they have thought about this and have thought about their potential audience, and they've scoped them out and they know that they're there and they know that they're passionate about this topic? That's a different story. Do your thing.
Yeah.
But if you're more on the side of, I want to start a podcast, what should I talk about? You should probably try guesting on some podcasts first. Yeah. See what it's like. Buy a microphone, buy some headphones, get the experience of showing up and having lights on you, and also knowing what it feels like to have your voice in your own ears. You should listen back to yourself if you want that, if you're ready for all of that. What's my advice for those podcasters who are ready? I think on a practical level, plan out what a season looks like to you. What does success look like to you? Try to come up with some metrics for success that are not just, I want to reach an audience. What audience do you want to reach? Yeah. Where are they? How many followers would you like to gain on Apple Podcasts? What about Spotify? Are you going to commit to checking the back end to make sure that you are on the up and up? And if you're not, what changes are you going to make? So I think it's about making sure you have the flexibility to do all of those things, which stems from planning out a season. Right. And then deciding at the end of that season, did I like the process of making this show? Do I feel like I have enough in my arsenal to do another season that either iterates on the same or goes in a different direction because I do need to make some changes to reach the audience that I want to reach.
Right.
So the advice that I have is you got to plan it out. Make sure it's a sustainable endeavor so that you don't just burn out after 6 episodes.
I have a slight obsession with trailers anything.
Yay.
And when I found your trailer podcast, I was done.
Yay.
I was done. How did you come up with that?
The podcast is called Trailer Park, the Podcast Trailer Podcast.
Yep.
And I came up with it because I love a name that tells you exactly what the thing is. I love it because there's no guessing. You're going to get a podcast about podcast trailers. That's just exactly what you're going to get. And I came up with it because I was on a road trip with a friend and we were looking for something to listen to. And we hit play on a few trailers and then we started the episodes that came after the trailer and we found that some of them didn't match the trailer.
Right.
And it got me thinking about what a potential listener does on their way to finding a podcast and becoming a fan of that podcast. And if you are making a show and you create a trailer that is beautifully done, produced with care, you spent a lot of money on it, and then the episodes that follow are clearly different in tone and in sound quality, that is promising something and then not delivering on it, and you're going to lose that person. I think the trick to getting somebody to become a fan is to promise and always deliver. And you can be transparent about the times that you fall short, but trailers are a great way for you to create an onboarding experience for a listener or a viewer if we're talking about video. And you can use a trailer to let people know what to expect, give them a sense of who you are. And that's what caused me to think about how are people making trailers? How are they thinking about trailers? And then in a worst case scenario, what if they don't have a trailer? This show hopefully teaches you that you should have a trailer for a number of reasons beyond what I just shared. There's also a lot of marketing advantages and things that you can do with your trailer once it's live before the rest of your show is live. So, yeah, that's how I came up with it.